Dean Johns, parents, spouses, significant others, friends, faculty, staff, class of 2022, and those of you who are watching online. I am Jamie Bicknell. I'm the Director of Clinical Education here. Heather Shattuck is a clinical professor here as well, and she'll be helping me up here today. We are delighted to welcome you to our 16th annual pledge ceremony. For those in attendance, the restrooms are located on the second floor, so unfortunately you have to go downstairs. You're gonna go straight ahead to the bottom of the stairs, and the restrooms are on the left. In case of emergency, there are exits to your left and right in the back room behind the wall. I also invite you to turn your phones on silent or vibrate, please. Without further ado, I have the honor of introducing Dr. Leonard Johns, Dean of the Earl R. and Barbara D. Lewis Health Sciences, who will share some opening remarks with us this afternoon. Dean Johns.
Welcome. Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to thank the entire faculty for their tireless work and passion for educating the next generation of physical therapists, right? And then I'd like to give a special thanks to Professor Bicknell and Marcy for their tremendous effort in scheduling your clinicals through kind of a crazy last couple of years, right? when sometimes you didn't know what was going on, and neither did we, right? And now it's on to you, right? The students. What a wonderful success. This day is about celebrating your successes, right? And your advances in education and also into the profession, right? One of the primary tenets of healthcare is that you, as healthcare professionals, are accepting the responsibility to take care of the patient, right? But also to take care of them as a whole person, right? And all the things that they hold dear in their life. This is a big responsibility, and it'll be something that you have to adhere to for the rest of your professional career. Okay, graduate education is challenging, but to learn in a pandemic, that adds layers of complexity. Switching from the class to virtual, adapting to clinical rotations, sometimes making those changes overnight, both as students and also as faculty, right, has been a challenge, but also a success. I want to introduce three paradigms kind of around healthcare that I think are important. One is the kind of the disablement model, or where you think about the patient, right? We have to think about the patient both from what is the injury, what is the disablement that they have, how do we think about that from the internal organ system point of view, from the biology point of view, from if they're taking pharmacology, right? How does that affect them in their lives and their daily activities? But then we also have to come back out to the patient, right? Once we look at that kind of disablement, that injury, and look at how that patient interacts with their family, right, with society, with their religion, with their culture, and how people may view them differently because of whatever ailment they have at that time, right? So we have to work with the whole person and who they are. The second one is looking at the healthcare system. We have many challenges in our healthcare system today, and those go all the way from the management perspectives to the clinical care perspectives to having not as many professionals as we need, right? And you guys are going to help fill some of those gaps and do those things, right? But then we also have to look at what the public health policy and then also community health, right? Which I think is also an important piece that your profession is going to be taking on and looking at and contributing to, right? And then we have global kind of inequity types of things, both within the U.S. healthcare system, but then also globally, right? And as we look at some of those inconsistencies or those inequities, those in the United States, right? Rural America has inequities, and also certain zip codes, demographics around cities have inequities as well. So, and what are the things that can cause those? Some of those are politics, some of those are access, some of them are, as we're seeing in today's world, conflict and war that are leading to some of those inequities as well. And now I want to challenge you guys, right? Students, soon to be graduates later tonight, right? Professionals, soon to maybe next week, right? To three things. One is to be a problem solver in healthcare. And what I mean by that is to not just do what needs to get done as far as like what is routine, but what is the true problem that you're trying to solve, either with the individual patient or with the healthcare system that you're working with, right? Become the best physical therapist you can become for your individual patient, right? And every individual patient is going to be different, so you need to treat them as individual patients, but try to be the best one that you can for them, along that disablement model, all the way from the injury to their life, right? And then last one is to take on an issue, right? In healthcare that is important to you, and that you can find passion in and work on it. And a lot of times those big issues, right, they're not solvable in 6 months. They're not solvable in 1 year. They're solvable in 10 years or 15 years, right? So find something you're passionate about and become a problem solver in that area. So thank you, good luck, and we'll see you guys later tonight. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Johns. It is now my honor to introduce our keynote speaker this evening, Dr. Vicki LaFay. Many of you know her, but for those of you who do not, she joined the core faculty of Clarkson University as the Director of Clinical Education in 2010 and had served as both a tutor and clinical instructor prior to that. She took the role of Associate Program Director in 2018 and then Program Director from 2019 until January of 2022. She is now one of the founding faculty members at the University of the Cumberlands in Kentucky. She is serving as the Program Director and Chair. And without further ado, Dr. Vicki LaFay.
Hi, guys. It is so wonderful to see you all, and I was just really honored to have the opportunity to come speak to you today. So, again, I miss you, and spending this afternoon with you is perhaps much more important to me than it is to all of you, but humor me along the way. So take a moment, close your eyes if you want. I want you to picture 30 years ago today, May of 1992. A 21-year-old version of myself walked across the stage. I experienced pride for making it to graduation, apprehension about the upcoming NPTE exam, and excitement about starting my very first grown-up job as a PT the very next week. We didn't call it imposter syndrome back then, but there was also doubt that tinged the mostly excitement that I had for entering clinical practice. I wondered if I would be effective. Would I make my patients better? Would my patients and my peers in the clinic see me as capable and competent when I wasn't always very sure of myself? I also questioned who I wanted to be as a physical therapist. I worried that what I envisioned throughout school and what I did in those first few years was going to define my whole career, and I didn't know what that should look like. Where I am right now in my professional path was certainly not my original 5-year plan, and nor was much of my clinical practice that came after I graduated. Life has led me to different practice settings and patient populations, and from staff and management positions and into academia. And that was okay. It was good even, and I am eternally thankful for the, at times, unanticipated opportunities and challenges that brought me here. That also led me here to Clarkson to build relationships with many cohorts of students who I consider my peers in the profession, colleagues who have served as mentors and cheerleaders, sometimes as devil's advocates, and as friends. And I count all of you in that list now, and I am grateful for that. How different did the world look like for me and my fellow new grads from the early 1990s compared to today? And aren't you proud? I'm up here telling you how old I am. You're all doing the math in your head, and that's okay. In the decade between 1980 and 1990, the number of PTs in practice in the US more than doubled, from about 31,000 to 66,000. As of 2019, there were nearly 313,000 licensed PTs. That is 95 PTs per 100,000 people, but there are still many communities medically underserved. The ratio of women to men in the profession in 1990 was 3-to-1. The profession was 90% non-Hispanic white. Only about 3% were African American and about 2.5% Hispanic. Now, In the 2020 APTA Physical Therapy Workforce Analysis, the PT profession is now 65% female and 35% male. So you guys are catching on, and you're catching up. But don't feel too good about that. The profession is still disproportionately white at 84%, even though the US Census indicates the US population is 60% white. So the remaining 40% Black, Asian, American Indian, Alaska Native, Hispanic, Latino, or other remain underrepresented in our profession. And this has led to numerous efforts from our professional organization, the APTA, to develop and expand student recruitment and DEI efforts for future generations. In your time as a student PT, you've seen inclusion explicitly added to the core values for the physical therapist and the physical therapist assistant. The Allied Health Workforce Diversity Act is currently being considered by Congress, and that could also make some inroads to support it. The APTA PT Moves Me Ambassador Program may also help support that. However, as a profession, we have a long way to go. In 1990, there were 129 PT programs, and all programs were bachelor's level or were transitioning to the master's level. I was part of the last graduating class from Ithaca College with a Bachelor's of Science in PT. Creighton University pioneered the first DPT program with a graduating class of DPTs in 1996, but it would take 20 years until 2016 before the expectation was that all degrees conferred by CAPTE accredited PT programs was a DPT. But now, as of the 2020-2021 CAPTE aggregate data, there are 261 accredited PT programs, and every single one is at the DPT level. Some facts to consider. Student debt has continued to rise, not just for PT, and there is much national attention on this now. Moving forward, we can all support the PT Workforce and Patient Access Act, which would allow for PTs to participate in the National Health Services Corps, something we've never been allowed to do, which would allow for $50,000 in loan forgiveness for 2 years in underserved areas, of which there are many in rural areas like ours, but also in urban areas as well. This is exciting progress that looks likely to happen in your future. In the 1990s, the Americans with Disability Act and the National Center for Medical Rehabilitation Research led to new opportunities for practice, with the role of PT in optimizing function and access aligned really well. That vision to help everyone reach their potential in a more accessible society was emerging even back then. However, PT was pretty much solely by referral, and these referrals were often very prescriptive and restrictive, leaving many of us practicing as PTs in that era feeling more like technicians than professional peers with other healthcare providers. This was also the era of increasing governmental regulations, the greater influence of insurance industry in corporate America, and decreasing reimbursement. Unfortunately, these are issues all of you will still encounter and need to work on during your next 30 years. However, it's not all going to be doom and gloom. Today, more PTs are exploring less traditional cash-based and consultant practices and doing so successfully. It wasn't until 2018 that the licensure compact became a reality, something that I never would have thought would be possible in 1992. And this continues to grow, increasing our license portability with 26 states part of the compact as of 2020. Although none of us want to talk about the pandemic and its impact, if there is a silver lining, we as a profession have seen the role we now play through digital health, telehealth, and that delivery can truly be innovative and effective. We've positioned ourselves as important frontline caregivers to the acute management of COVID and in post-COVID long-term management. Evidence supports that. Beyond the current public health emergency, there's also a strong likelihood that we will see the expanded Telehealth Act pass that would expand the ability of PT to be reimbursed as telehealth providers for Medicare patients beyond the current waiver, a permanent change for other rehab professionals in PT, likely to happen by December of this year. We also talk about evidence-based practice all the time, right? And there are a wealth of resources that are readily available and accessible to us at a click. But this wasn't always the case. I never used a computer until I went to college. And those computers certainly, ask your parents, didn't put information at your fingertips easily back then. If you wanted information, you searched a textbook or an article out of a periodical that was found in the damp, dark recesses of a basement in a library. We didn't even have the Guide to PT Practice until 1995. With the evolution of the profession and technology, you all have hooked on evidence, open door, journals, and compilations of outcome measures and clinical practice guidelines right at your fingertips, just a few taps away. It's amazing, truly. There are a growing number of ABPTS specialty certifications, residencies, fellowships, and more post-professional continuing education opportunities than you could possibly ask for. When I graduated, the first specialist certification exam was not recognized until 1985. And although there were 7 specialties in 1992, I didn't even know anything about it and didn't know a single person who held one. Our professional vision has changed as well. Vision 2020 developed in 2000, and it was aspirational. We would be autonomous practitioners. Patients would have direct access to us. We would be doctors of physical therapy, practitioners of choice, who utilize EBP, and are professionals. And I would ask you, did we meet this fully? We could settle in and debate that, so you guys could all buckle up for that too. But I know you have things to do today. I would argue that much of that was fulfilled, or it was reassessed and realigned. It certainly is a profession that looks so incredibly different than the one that I entered 30 years ago. Now, you all have the vision of the profession, and you should be able to go do this with me, transforming society by optimizing movement to improve the human experience. You guys know that, right? Yeah, you're good. It is now up to you to take this from vision to actuality. We did our part. That's what I hope you reflect on in 20 or 30 years. So, flashback to 30 years ago, my 21-year-old self, and then back to today. Back to the business at hand, your pledge to the profession, your graduation, and your day. Be open to the opportunities that present along the way. Measure your options and be thoughtful. But don't be afraid of change, and when you do, dive in and commit and do it well. Your patients deserve the very best of you, your very best self, and that does require you taking care of yourself, finding your professional passions, and I want you to do your own flashbacks. Try to remember the you that is sitting in these seats today, because that excited, naive, and a little scared version of yourself that is sitting here today should be in the back of your mind as you move through practice. That'll help drive you to be your best self and to find your unique path. I want you to ask yourself, who do you want to be and what role do you want to play in driving change for the profession over the career? It's a wild ride. I'm amazed at how much has changed in the 30 years since I walked across the stage. And I cannot wait to see what your 30-year flashback will be, both broadly for the profession, as we briefly discussed here today, but for each of you as individuals. So speaking for everyone here, faculty, administrators, families, and friends, congratulations to the Clarkson University class of 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. LaFay. That was an amazing speech. At this time, is it a great pleasure to announce that the class of 2022 has finally completed the didactic and clinical education components of the DPT curriculum. Woohoo! As we all know, this was a challenging feat to accomplish with all of the unforeseen changes due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Through perseverance, adaptability, and dedication, these students did not even let a global pandemic stop them from becoming PTs. Great job, guys. To honor the members of the class of 2022 this afternoon, they will be coded by their advisor or a faculty member. Their codes have been pinned to further symbolize their entrance into the profession. Assistant Professor Alicia Grosso will now join us to read the names for the class of 2022. Please hold your applause until all of the students have been coded. Advisors and class of 2022, please take your positions. Are you ready?
Catherine Ackner. It's your day. Dion Ammel. Christopher Afonso. Gable Bogner. Merkiva Braithwaite. Maris Brockway. Jocelyn Corella Navarro. Taylor Dolly. Uche Duru. Allison Green. Shelby Miller. Huandra Newbold. Curtis Risberger. Christian Schroeder. Jade Vojcic. Tiffany Williams. You all look fantastic.
Well, it certainly has been a long road, so congratulations. We would also like to take a moment, though, to recognize 4 members of this cohort who were not able to be here today. A big congratulations goes out to Samuel Amsbaugh, Eric Huon, Andrew Kim, and Daniel Lanos. Class of 2022, please stand. The class of 2022 and the Clarkson DPT faculty will renew the pledge. The audience may read along. The pledge is on the back of the program. All students and PT faculty will recite the pledge in unison. As I enter the profession of physical therapy, I solemnly and willingly pledge the following. I will respect the rights and dignity of all individuals and will provide compassionate care. I will be trustworthy towards my patients and clients and in all other aspects of physical therapy practice. I will place the welfare of my patients and clients above my own self-interest. I will provide accurate and relevant information to patients and clients about their care and to the public about physical therapy services. I will exercise sound judgment and comply with the laws and regulations that govern physical therapy practice, education, and research. I will steadfastly adhere to the highest ethical principles and professional standards. I will advocate for the health needs of society and strive to effect changes that benefit patients, clients, and the community. I will cultivate professional competence, embrace advancements in practice, challenge mediocrity, and work toward development of new knowledge. I will respect the rights, knowledge, and skills of colleagues and other healthcare professionals and seek consultation to benefit the welfare of the patient or client. Thus, with this pledge, I freely accept the responsibilities that accompany the profession of physical therapy and agree to serve the profession and to influence positively the health of society. Thank you. Please sit. Taking the pledge and donning the white coat are benchmarks in your development as a professional physical therapist. These benchmarks are taken in front of witnesses, are your statement that you accept the obligation to be the best physical therapist you can possibly be. The faculty and members of Clarkson University and all the guests that have joined here this evening will continue to assist and support you in the best way we can. Again, congratulations to the members of the DPT class of 2022. You finally did it. Before we wrap things up this evening, however, we have a few awards to give. Our first award is the Melissa A. Walsh 2003-2005 Memorial Endowed Scholarship. This scholarship was established in 2008 by her parents to celebrate Melissa Walsh's life and to continue support of the physical therapy profession. Melissa graduated high school in 1999 and went on to receive her Bachelor of Science degree in psychology from Clarkson University. In May of 2005, she completed the Master of Physical Therapy program, also from Clarkson University. Melissa was a standout student, respected amongst her professors and peers, who always maintained exceptional grades and was at the top of her class. She went on to become a licensed physical therapist and worked in outpatient orthopedics. Melissa put her heart into all that she did, whether relationships, education, or employment. Melissa was a role model in every sense of the word, in her personal life, her professional commitments, and her belief in caring for others. In honor of all that she represented, Melissa's family and friends have established a scholarship in her name for physical therapy student with similar qualities and goals. Melissa's life and accomplishments are an excellent example of what a Clarkson University student should strive to achieve. This year's recipient is Shelby Miller. Congratulations.
Our last award this afternoon is the ACAP National Student Honor Society. This award was established in 2018 to recognize current Doctor of Physical Therapy students who uphold and implement the core values of physical therapy profession and exemplify outstanding traits in leadership, research, and service to society characterized by consistent demonstration of strong moral character and ethics. This year, our inductee is Christopher Afonso. Chris, please come up and grab your award. Congrats, Chris. On behalf of the faculty and students, I would like to extend and thank the parents, spouses, and significant others and friends for their support of these students and being with us here today. As a reminder, the graduation ceremony will take place at Shield Arena at 6 p.m. this evening. We now ask for you to join us in a small reception in the back to honor the students and to give thanks to all their supporters. To those joining online, thank you for sharing this experience with us. Class of 2022, please gather at the front for a class photo. Congratulations! Right up here would be good. Yep.